the crumbling pillars of tax justice, a nation's billions vanishing into thin air. The UK's tax system, a cornerstone of its economic stability, is facing a crisis of unprecedented proportions. While the government boasts of its commitment to fair taxation, a stark reality paints a far different picture. A shocking decline in prosecutions against those facilitating tax evasion, leaving billions of pounds unaccounted for and eroding public trust. New data obtained by the Bureau of Investigative Journalism reveals a catastrophic drop in prosecutions targeting enablers of tax dodging, the individuals and firms who actively assist others in avoiding their rightful tax obligations. A mere handful of cases, fewer than 5, were brought to court in the 2023-202 for financial year. This stands in stark contrast to the 16 prosecutions launched just 5 years prior, in 2018-019, representing a staggering decrease of over 70%. This alarming trend underscores a systemic failure within the UK's tax enforcement mechanisms, raising serious questions about the government's commitment to tackling tax evasion. The implications are far-reaching and deeply concerning. This drastic reduction in prosecutions sends a clear, dangerous message. Engaging in activities that facilitate tax evasion carries minimal risk of legal repercussions. It empowers a shadow economy where illicit practices thrive, fueled by impunity and a lack of effective deterrence. The consequences extend beyond mere financial losses. They undermine the very principles of fairness and equity upon which a just society is built. Honest taxpayers, diligently fulfilling their obligations, are left feeling cheated and disillusioned as billions vanish into the shadows, unchallenged and unpunished. The situation has sparked outrage among leading figures. Labour peer Prem Sikka powerfully denounced this state of affairs, stating, "This makes a mockery of freedom of information laws. Parliament can't properly question HMRC because it hides behind a veil of confidentiality while ministers just shrug their shoulders and carry on." His words highlight the opacity surrounding HMRC's operations and the lack of accountability from those in power. The government's apparent indifference fuels a sense of betrayal among the public, further eroding confidence in the integrity of the system. This alarming trend isn't a recent phenomenon. Last year, a report in The Observer revealed a more than 2/3 drop in prosecutions following HMRC investigations over a 5-year period. Even more shockingly, not a single company has faced prosecution for enabling tax evasion since landmark powers were introduced in 2017. These powers, intended to bolster enforcement efforts, have demonstrably failed to deliver on their promise, leaving a gaping hole in the UK's tax enforcement arsenal. The sheer scale of the problem is staggering. The tax gap, the difference between the tax revenue collected and the amount expected, reached a staggering almost £40 billion in 2020-2023, the most recent year for which data is available. This monumental figure represents a colossal loss to the public purse, funds that could have been invested in vital public services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure. Dan Needle, a former head of tax at Clifford Chance and founder of Tax Policy Associates, succinctly summarizes the core issue. The thriving industry of people enabling tax evasion will continue until there are visible prosecutions. His statement underlines the crucial need for visible, decisive action to deter this illicit activity. The lack of prosecutions creates a climate of impunity, allowing this thriving industry to flourish unchecked. The future of tax justice in the UK hangs precariously in the balance. The drastic reduction in prosecutions against those facilitating tax evasion signals a profound systemic failure. Without a fundamental shift in approach, marked by increased transparency, robust enforcement, and a clear commitment to holding those responsible accountable, the UK risks a future where billions continue to disappear into the shadows, leaving behind a legacy of injustice and eroding public faith in the very institutions designed to protect it. The time for decisive action is now. The billions lost represent not just financial losses, but a betrayal of the public trust that underpins a functioning democracy.